There we go. Okay, so let's get going with the live. My name's Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you go on my website, it's BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my courses, my coaching. There's a big wait list, but I'll get to eventually. And the podcast is called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms, and you can watch it on YouTube. That's where we save it. We save all the lives, all the podcasts, and the shorts are all the short videos that we do. So it's all on YouTube. Okay, hi, Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia. Hi, Cape Breton Island. I know where Nova Scotia is, but I don't know where that Cape Breton Island is. Hi, Mary Jane. Okay, so, and we've got Holly from Kansas City, Missouri. Welcome. Okay. Florida. Hi, Raquel. Alabama. I've had a lot of clients from Alabama and Texas, particularly. I've got Espinoza from Texas. Yeah, I talk to a lot of Southerners. I love that. I pick up that accent really fast whenever I'm talking to someone from the South. Okay, so let's get going with your question. Western Australia. So you've got to be Perth, right? Morwena. Oh, thanks, Lauren. Okay, so this is Rita's questions. 3 boys, ages 4, 6, and 8. 6 and 8-year-old have ADHD and are very impulsive and say some really terrible things. 4-year-old has always been very easygoing until recently, and now he's copying what his brothers do. How can I handle that kind of situation? Don't focus on the 4-year-old. Put your energy into the 2 older ones, because the younger ones will follow suit, right, as you're finding out. So yeah, check out my free behavior board. Start there. Pick a rule. And if they're saying mean things, you could say something like this. The rule for the kids could be no bad words or no name calling. They're kind of the similar thing, right? So you can put that down, but you can't put attitude. You can't put anything that's just snotty, right? But it has to be very specifically no bad words or no name calling. Just one sec. I got to turn my heat down. Okay. Yeah, and there's a consequence if they do that. So just start small. You're starting one step at a time with all this stuff. You can't necessarily address the big, like everyone says, how do I calm the kids down in that? You got to start small, one step at a time. That's the behavior board. It's completely free on my website, BratBusters.com. And that's where I suggest everyone starts. Okay. Okay, what's the happy medium on with letting my 5-year-old decide things like what to wear, eat, and me deciding? Okay, that you decide the needs, they decide the wants. So what I mean by that is, yeah, like the needs. What you eat, when you go to bed, that's all the needs. You do that. When you're playing, like playtime, so it's not all the wants, but when you're playing, it's that they're sort of in charge of play. You can agree on what you're going to play, but while you're playing, let them be in charge of that, okay? And let them pick the outfit that they want to wear. But if it becomes an issue, say this. Say, look, you can decide tomorrow's outfit tonight. If you don't decide before you go to bed, I'll decide tomorrow morning. So it's not a last-minute crunch. But yeah, it's sort of, you're in charge of the stuff that needs to be done. But when you're just playing and they want to play a certain way, then let them be in charge of that. About Leah, Maine. Leah from Maine. There's no Leah, Maine, right? Like no Leah city in Maine. So I get this all mixed up. I'm Canadian, so I don't know all the cities down there. Thanks, Crystal. I appreciate that. Have you ever helped kids with picky eating or encouraging new foods? Yeah, I can't really talk about that, and I'll tell you why. I'm not a nutritionist, so I can't get into food. There's certain things I say, I sort of tippy-toe around that issue, like what I did with my kids. I can tell you the story of how I handled my kids, but I can't give you advice on how to get them to eat certain foods because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not qualified to talk about that. I'm very careful about that, so sorry about that. Okay, this is Kimberly on YouTube. Welcome. When I'm at the store, my kids are usually good. They're 3 and 4. I always praise them for being good. Is this okay? It's okay, but I just treat that as normal behavior. Like if I'm good when I go shopping, no one's praising me. I don't tend to praise for baseline stuff, just normal. Yeah, I don't tend, it's okay, but praise is overrated. Most parents tend to overpraise and underplay. I like to play with kids a lot, but I'm not into praising a lot. Praise doesn't do much. It doesn't do as much for them as you may think. Valerie from Quebec. Never been that far east. A 4-year-old constantly saying no to everything. Is it just a phase? Well, I don't know, but they usually do that at 2, and you sort of train them out of that. If they're doing it at 4, it kind of means that they don't respect you. So work on your leadership skills. Remember, we're not fixing kids here. We're fixing and teaching parents. You lead, they will follow. Their behavior between the ages of 3 and 12 is all a direct result of your parenting. So it's never them. It's always you. So yeah, work on your leadership skills. They don't tend to say no to a leader. They just don't. So I'm going to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer. Ever a severe tantrum? Yeah. I don't know your question though. And if you look up, just Google BratBusters tantrums. I've got hundreds of videos on tantrums. So you might want to look that up. Okay, I don't understand, Melinda, your question. Is it in the middle of the night or at bedtime? And you have to put the whole question and then that answer in the same thing, or else I'll get it mixed up. Okay. Yeah, you've got to put a self-contained comment or question. You can't keep adding to it because I'm not going to go back and find the original, what you've put originally. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I had a very good Christmas. Yeah, got spoiled and spoiled others, and yeah, it was fun. Got nothing to say about that because it's all personal stuff, right? It's all my kids and grandkid and all that. But I will say my granddaughter, she's almost 2 now, and she's just at that age. She doesn't understand Christmas, but she certainly is understanding presents now. So it's fun. There's nothing like Christmas except when it's little kids involved. So once my kids were teenagers and that was kind of, but now that I got a granddaughter again, it sort of brings back the excitement of Christmas. Okay, Melinda, I don't know what's going on with, he wakes up in the middle of the night screaming and we can't control him. I don't know if he has nightmares or night terrors or what's going on. I have no idea. I'd have to research that and ask a lot of questions to know what's going on with that. 2-year-old smacks himself in the head when frustrated. Yeah, they'll do self-harming when they're really little because they don't really understand this hurts. They'll eventually learn. Just try and protect him. As soon as he starts hitting himself, you say no and just hold his hand so he can't hit himself. And then let go. If he goes again, grab him again. You don't hold him the whole time. But yeah, you keep letting him know. He'll eventually learn. They do crazy stuff, eh? Okay, check out my free behavior board. This is Maniam 5794 on YouTube. Check out the free behavior board. It'll explain how you do that. And don't get caught up in what the consequence is. What's the perfect consequence? That's not the point. The point is that there is a consequence and that you're consistent with them. But yeah, don't get caught up in the consequence itself being important. Like what type of consequence? Don't worry about that. There's always 2 consequences for the kids. But check it out on the free behavior board. It'll explain how you do all that. And that's for 3 and above. Under 3, it's consistent corrective actions. That's the toddler stage. So we don't use a behavior board. They have to be able to stop and think before they act to be on that behavior board. 2-year-old, they don't do that so much. Okay, you got a 3-year-old who's up in the middle of the night making demands. Yeah, I would just say, no, it's time for sleep. I don't know why he's waking up though. When did this start? What do you do? Sorry, but that's too many things involved there. I'd need too many questions around that one. But yeah, I would just say, no, it's time for bed. I wouldn't give them anything they ask for, basically, unless they're sick or something, obviously. But yeah, they got to learn that when they wake up in the middle of the night, that they're not going to get anything for it. There's no payoff for doing it. Usually they can sleep through the night. So this is my first Christmas alone with my kids. Just got out of not a good marriage. Okay, well, better to be out of a bad marriage than in a bad one. That's for sure. Okay. You said, how do you co-parent with someone who loses their temper? So you're asking me, how do you control someone else? I don't know. How do you control an adult? I don't know. I can't answer that. I can't tell you how to control an out-of-control parent. I can tell them how to control themselves, but I can't tell you how to control them. So yeah, I teach parenting here, not marriage or not. You see what I mean? Okay, 3-year-old twin girls pinch each other when they're frustrated. We have the behavior board, I'm assuming. Can you explain making amends rather than saying sorry? Saying you're sorry is so weak, it doesn't mean anything. They're just empty words, okay? There's 4 steps to a good apology as an adult. The first step is say you're sorry just to start the ball rolling. The second step is take full responsibility for what you did. Don't say, I'm sorry I yelled, but if you hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had to yell. See how a lot of people turn that around? The third step is the really important one is you make amends. Say, what can I do to make it up to you? If they don't come up with anything, you suggest something. The fourth one is don't keep doing it again. Okay. So the words I'm sorry are just useless to me. They don't mean anything to me. They're just the start of all this stuff. So with kids, if they do something naughty, I don't even get them to say they're sorry. I don't bother with that. I just say, oh, you did that. So here's what we're going to do. And then follow through with the consequence. They'll eventually learn. They learn empathy through watching you. They don't tend to learn it from you forcing it on them. That compassion and empathy, saying you're sorry, that's kind of garbage. Like they learn empathy through watching you and compassion and all that. I have a 13-month-old. When is a good time to go through your course? That would be the toddler one, and that starts at about 15, 16 months, usually 16 to 35 months. You can get that at any time, but just be aware that you won't really dig into it until they're about 16 months old. So yeah, anytime, but just wait. Don't bother buying it now. Wait. Thanks, Ash. Says Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Yeah, we had a very good Christmas, and I hope everyone had a happy Hanukkah and whatever else you celebrate. And our Christmas was good. I'm vegan, so I never eat meat, so it's not about the food for me. So yeah, we had lamb yesterday. We had lamb, so I don't eat any of it. I mean, I cook it, but I just don't eat it. I don't understand your question, Marie. What do you do for an 8-year-old who struggles to listen everywhere unless he gets attention nonstop? So he doesn't listen unless he gets attention nonstop? I don't understand that one. Including school. So he won't listen unless he's getting attention. I don't know what's going on, but most things start at home. So does he act like that at home? Or do you just spoil him with attention? So everywhere he goes, he has that entitled, I'm the center of attention thing going on. I don't know. Or is it a behavioral issue? So he's either entitled or it's a behavioral issue, but I don't know which. I'd have to assess that. That would be more coaching for me to really know why he's doing that. But I'd ask the teacher, say, what do you think's going on? Because they see a lot, right? Advice on calling names, especially, okay, bloop. I've tried suggesting other things to say and asking, okay. Okay, so just say no bad words or no name calling. Okay, put that on the behavior board. No name calling or no bad words. Okay, you're vegan too. I want to make it very clear, I'm not pro-vegan. I just happen to be vegan. I'm not pro. I've only been vegan for 10 years. But I'm not pro-vegan. I just do it because it suits me. Yeah. My kitchen was full of meat last night. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of questions here about sleeping. I have a whole program around bedtime routine. It's only in my courses, unfortunately, but it's kind of involved. But I'll just tell you, it's in 2 parts. The first part is how to get them to bed. You need a routine to structure a habit, right? Usually about an hour, bath time, reading in bed. And then you say, okay, that's it. Good night. And then when you leave the room, if they get out of bed, the first time you walk them back and you say, I said it's bedtime, stay in bed, put them back to bed. You don't tuck them in though. Just one body part has to touch the mattress. When they're asleep later on, then you can tuck them in. The second time they get out of bed, and let them get out of bed, walk down to wherever you are. Second time, you just say one word, bedtime. Every time after that, you just silently and slowly walk them back to bed, put them on their mattress, and that's it. Might take an hour, might take 2 or 3, I don't know. But that's how you do it. So you don't need to buy the course to get that information now. There it is. But it's in both the courses. Is there any more in that? Yeah, there's a few little tweaky things that I've added in the course, but that's basically it. They will eventually learn that, that There's no point in getting up because it's not going to work. They only do what works past the age of, especially 4, anywhere between 3.5, or 4. They only do what works. If getting out of bed pays off, it annoys you. They get to stay up. You talk to them. You get angry. You might read a book. You might get them water. Then they're going to keep doing it. But if there's no attention paid, they're going to stop doing it. Okay. Most of what you're asking here is stuff that can be addressed on the behavior board. So check that out. If it's something that you want them to stop doing or start doing, 3 years old and over, check out the free behavior board. That's what it's there for. It's basically the training wheels with all this stuff. So it teaches you how to put down a rule and have a consequence and how to follow through. Can you put don't say no or stop on the behavior board for 3-year-old? He likes to cut us off when we are giving direction and tell us no to stop. Yeah, he just doesn't respect you. That's on you. So I wouldn't put that down. I would start with something that you want. Maybe you want him to start doing a chore. He has to put his dishes in the dishwasher or in the sink or on the counter before leaving the kitchen. He has to put his shoes and jacket away within 5 minutes of arriving home. Get him sort of a routine going. So you're building some mutual respect. He'll stop saying no when he starts to respect you. Okay, 8-year-old boy who's ungrateful and whines and complains about almost everything. Do I need to boost his confidence? I don't see how that equates to confidence at all. Not the way you've written it anyway. I'm not sure how to help him, but he is struggling, obviously. So he's ungrateful, so he's spoiled. He whines, it's usually spoiled, and complains. That's often spoiled. Do you spoil him? Is he entitled? I don't know. I don't know what's good, but I wouldn't associate that with a lack of confidence. And confidence and self-esteem are two different things. You can have really high self-esteem, but still not get up in front of an audience and give a speech. That's confidence. But self-esteem is how you view yourself. Confidence is your ability to throw yourself out in the public in front of other people or try new things and all that. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. It sounds to me like he's a tad spoiled and entitled. That would be my gut reaction. Like you said, how to get a 3-year-old to play by himself outside with supervision. I don't know. I don't know your situation. I would start playing with him and then let him play on his own. And don't just have the same old things out. You can rotate toys around so they're more interesting. But yeah, start the action and then just say, I got to go. Say, I'm going to go and hang up. Don't say I'm leaving now. Say, I'm going to go and do something. So it makes it sound like you've got a chore to do. And then you say, I'll come back after I'm finished doing whatever. Okay, it looks like a continuation question. I need context in all of your comments here because I can't go back. I can't remember what your previous comment or question was. What are your thoughts on co-sleeping? I have lots of clients who do it, although eventually they're over it. So yeah, I don't really have an opinion on it. It's kind of like co-sleeping, breastfeeding till they're 5, homeschooling, religion. Those are all personal choices. I don't really have an opinion on them. Like, I mean, I do personally, but as a coach, I don't. It's a personal choice. Some people co-sleep, they have the co-sleeping bed forever. They'll have them maybe a couple king beds sort of put together and the whole family, like 5 kids will co-sleep with their parents. And they're happy to do that till the kids are 10 and they say, I've had enough of this. So it's a personal choice. Well, you said, what do you do about a 20-month-old swearing because the 5-year-old sister tells her to? It has nothing to do with the toddler, it's the 5-year-old. Say there's no bad words allowed. If you do, then there's a consequence. Check out the behavior board. The rule should be no bad words. And then make sure there's a consequence. Oops. Do you coach virtually? Yeah, it's all done. I'm using Google Meet these days. It's all done online. The last time I coached in person would have been 17 years ago. So yeah. And most of my clients are all over the world anyway. I think I've had in the last couple of years, I've had one, maybe two clients in Vancouver, my hometown. Okay, I got to get going. I'm moving over to Instagram now. If you want to join me over there, it's BratBusters Parenting. If not, check out my website. It's BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, look into my courses, the coaching. Sorry, I do have a huge wait list, but I'll get through it eventually. And also you can listen to our podcast. It's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. And it's on all the platforms, and you can watch it on YouTube. It's my daughter and I do it. And I think it was last week we hit, our goal for the first year was 10,000 downloads, because that's evidently really good. We hit 1 million in the first year. Thank you so much for that. Now, what that says to us, we don't make any money on that podcast. What that says to us is that you're picking up what we're putting down, like it's helping people, and that we're in the caring field. So that is extremely rewarding for us, because we put a lot into all this, and the fact that it's helping you is why we keep doing more and more. We keep trying to put out more and more content. So anyway, I really appreciate the support on that podcast. We did not have any idea it was going to go like that. So, we really appreciate that. Anyway, I'm hopping over to Instagram, and I'm on YouTube the whole time whenever I'm doing a live. Happy parenting. So YouTube, you got to watch me push buttons here. There we go. That wasn't so bad. There was less buttons that time. They keep changing things. There was less buttons going from Facebook to Instagram. Okay. So I'm just kind of zoned out here. I'm very tired. Christmas is tiring. It's fun, but tiring. Okay. Just waiting for everyone to turn up. Okay, good enough people here. Anyway, welcome to my live. It's if you check out my website, it's BratBusters.com. You can see my free. Sorry, I was reading what someone said. I started to read what they were saying. You can get my free behavior board. You can look into my courses. You can check out coaching. There is a huge wait list, but I'll get to that eventually. And you can listen to our podcast. It's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms, and you can watch it on YouTube if you want. My daughter and I do it together. So she does all the marketing and all the planning. A lot of people think that she works with me. She doesn't. She's a partner in the business. She kind of tells me what to do. She's in charge of stuff. So yeah, I couldn't run it as it is without her for sure. So. Okay, so let me see here. You got an 18-month-old that slaps you, what to do? Just prevent it. When they go to slap you, grab their hand. If you think they're going to, grab their hand and just say no. They're still babies. They're going to try stuff. There's 4 things they're born to do or they're never going to do. It's literally in their DNA. One is aggression. That some kids will never slap you, some kids will. It's just in them. So it's your job to train them out of it over a period of time. But it's just something that they're going to do. And the other one is tantrums. And then the third one is running away from you in public or wherever. And the fourth one is climbing. They're going to be dangerous, climbing on cupboards and all that stuff. Those are 4 things that they're just born to do or they're never going to do. Some kids do all of them. Some kids do none. My daughter didn't do any. My son had the odd tantrum, and that was it. They didn't do any of the others. So yeah, it's not your fault they do it, but it's your job to train them out of it. So yeah, just never let them keep getting away with it. Like if they slap once, hold their hand, just say no, and then sort of maybe put them down, sort of snub them a little bit, and they'll get the idea eventually. And also, if you've got an aggressive toddler and they hit other kids, remove your child from the activity for a few minutes or whatever. Don't just have them say, I'm sorry, and leave them there. I think that's unfair to the other kids and the other parents because the words I'm sorry mean nothing to a toddler, absolutely nothing. And it's the consequence. It's the action that you take. Remove them from the fun for a while, then watch them like a hawk so they can't hurt someone else. I see this all the time. Parents get embarrassed. No, you don't. They try and do these mini therapy sessions discussing why they shouldn't hit to a toddler. Like, it's ridiculous. You just say no and you remove them from the fun for a few minutes, and then you put them back and watch them like a hawk. If they go to start hitting again, grab them again and say no. If they won't learn, then just leave. Wherever you are, just leave. It's not fair to other people to put them through that. Because I mean, I've been around aggressive kids, and yeah, sometimes I've just left with my kid or my grandchild. I don't want them getting hit. So it's not fair to other people, but it is your responsibility to keep your child from hurting others too. But I see that a lot because parents are embarrassed, so they almost kind of turn away from it. Don't do that. You're not doing yourself, other people, or your kid a favor. You want to train them out of that. Okay, 3.5-year-old boy who whines and has many meltdowns when something doesn't go as the way he wants. So something's too heavy, it's stuck. Just ignore that stuff. He whines and cries and has a mini meltdown. Just go, oh, well, maybe next time or whatever. Just not belittle his reaction, but belittle the task. Like, oh, well, no big deal. I can't carry everything either. Like he's got to be, that's a sore loser, by the way. You got to learn you can't do everything, right? You know, those kids are often the ones who also, and if they lose at a game, they flip the whole board because they're so mad. Yeah, things don't go their way. So you want to say, what? It doesn't go my way all the time either. So deal with it. You kind of want to be tough with that. So, yeah. I knew someone growing up, and I can't remember the situation, but I knew someone growing up who was like that. And the parents really fed that. They said, okay, well, you can do it. Now, look, we'll make it easy. They're always trying to set this child up for success and make everything easy and doable. So when something wasn't set up for them to succeed, well, they had a fit. And the parents weren't doing them any favor. The sooner they learn they can't do everything, the better, because none of us can do everything. My 4-year-old has trouble listening to us. How can I make her listen better? Has nothing to do with her. It's you. We're not fixing kids. We're fixing and teaching parents here. If you're a leader, they listen. They don't listen to a non-leader. They don't listen to someone they don't respect. So it has nothing to do with her. You haven't earned her listening. You've got to earn that. You've got to work on yourself. It's never them, it's you. When I was working with kids, and if they acted out under my care, when I was just starting to get their respect and working with them, if they acted out, I always thought, what am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? You never put it on the kid. Don't blame the kid. Blame yourself. Sometimes people will say, way to shame the parent. You'd rather shame the kid? Like they're just a reflection of your parenting. That's all. Past the ages of 3 to 12, their behavior is nothing but a reflection of your parenting, your lack of leadership or your leadership, right? Snubbing is okay. It's sort of a snub. Like let's say you've got a little one who's really hitting and all that. It's okay to snub them a little bit. Yeah. So you say no and they keep trying to hit you. You just put them down. Then you just kind of ignore them for a minute or so. Don't walk away necessarily. It's important they see you just sort of, no, okay, well, you're just kind of pulling your attention away basically. But, don't overdo that. And never do the silent treatment. That's a whole other, that usually goes on for quite some time. It's a whole other level. Can you help me with 10-year-old behaviors? Yeah, well, you can help yourself with that. Just check out the free behavior board or the course, the boot camp course. It goes from 3 to 12 years old. You might want to check that out. Coaching, I wouldn't recommend because the wait list is huge. Unless you really, really have a lot of problems or crisis or something that you really want to wait and talk to me. But yeah, check out the boot camp course. Might be a good fit. It's all on BratBusters.com. And the free behavior board is a good place to start. But if you're going to get that course, don't do the behavior board until you get the course because it's more in depth in the course. Well, you got a shy 3-year-old. Of course, they're all outgoing and very relaxed at home. And then you take them out and they get all shy. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Completely normal. Like my granddaughter's like that. If she's FaceTiming with someone, like her Aunt Amy, my daughter. So I have my granddaughter 1 or 2 days a week. And so we'll FaceTime with my daughter all the time. She loves Auntie Amy. She knows her really well. And this is my granddaughter FaceTiming Auntie Amy. She's like this. Okay. The second we hang up, she talks loud and it's just because it's on the FaceTime. Yeah. Completely different. So they're more shy when it's public situations or FaceTiming, or the second she hits that little X and she knows it's off, she's loud and talking constantly. So yeah, it's very normal for them to be different in different situations. Oh, you're asking what to do with your nephew? I can't help you mother someone else's kid. Yeah, I only teach parenting. I don't teach how to manage other people's kids. I don't teach that. So yeah, I can't answer that. Yeah, I sort of get this, and yet I don't. I just want to comment on this. Says Roger, they will be snubbed in the real world, so they need to understand that if they do that behavior, others will walk away from them. Yeah, sort of. Yeah. You always want to be a little bit sort of kinder at home in that the real world is a war zone. I used to tell my kids, our home life is lovely. You come home, we just laugh. You know, they were good kids because I was a leader. So we just had fun all the time. And I said, but you go out in public. And I said, you got to prove yourself out there. It's a war zone out there. So yeah, people are gonna be mean to you at times, and you know that's normal. That's life. But at home, it was more cautiously done because it was the home life. It was parenting, right? But I never wanted my kids to think that life was easy. I always wanted their home life to be lovely and safe, and they could tell me anything. But when they go out in the world, you got to earn respect from other people. I'm going to hand it to you, right? But you've got to earn it from other people. Yeah, we do provide. Thank you for that. You said someone on here, Salerson, said you provide a lot for free. Thank you for what you do. I've learned a lot. Excellent. My main goal with my business is not money. It's reach. I've been doing this for 54 years now because I started volunteering in daycare centers when I was 11 years old, and I haven't changed my methods. I invented all this stuff at 11. I just understood kids, and my main goal is reach. So most of what we put out there is free. You'll notice we might do it one day, but we don't have any sponsors. We don't want anyone interrupting our message. We could make a lot more money doing what we're doing, but our goal is reach. We want to get this message out to as many people as possible because I truly believe in what I'm teaching. I truly believe in it. I don't think it's the only way. You know, I think it's a really good way. There's probably other great ways of parenting too, but this just works for me. Also, and you know, I'm sure other people too, but also, if you're going to take advice from someone on parenting, they have to have these qualifications. They have to have finished the job with their own kids. You cannot teach parenting if you haven't lived with teenagers. How do you know where you're going? How do you know what to invest in now for the teenage years? So they have to have finished the job already. Number two, they have to have found parenting fun and easy. If they didn't, why would you want to learn from them? I loved it. I thought parenting was fun and easy. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And number three is they have to have worked with hundreds of other kids, because if they didn't, how can they teach? Like, I didn't learn much with my own kids. It was all the kids I worked with, all the kids with emotional problems, maybe physical disabilities, a lot of behavioral issues. Those are all the kids I learned all this with. So it's experience based. And I'm sure there's lots of other people out there with the same experience. So I would look into that. Make sure they finished the job with their own kids and it went well. They found parenting fun and easy, and they've worked with hundreds of kids. And yeah. I'm sure there's lots of other ways out there. So if you don't like me, then move on to someone else, but look for those qualifications. And a lot of my clients are teachers, principals, and child psychologists. They struggle with parenting a lot also because it's very different. Like, I couldn't do their jobs. It does not, everything crosses over. Those are businesses. Parenting, there's no other relationship like it. It's personal. There's no degree in parenting. You know, I guess if you finish the job and you found it easy, maybe, but there's no diploma for parenting. You see what I mean? Like, it's experience based. Well, okay, I can't answer this, Nova Main, and I'll tell you why. The question is, we live in a small one-bedroom apartment. We have a 2-year-old that keeps getting into things she shouldn't. We can't completely hide everything. How do we not say no to her? We've been frustrated with her. Yeah, it's not fair to her. You should be able to hide stuff. Even if it's in your car, you should be able to hide some things. You know, like, there must be shelves that your 2-year-old can't reach. So you're asking me, how do we put out tempting things and tell her not to touch them? That's ridiculous. You can't. Okay. You know, they're going to want stuff that they see. So you've got to hide stuff sometimes from 2-year-olds. You can't, you're asking me the impossible. How do we hide stuff when we can't, or how do we teach her not to touch stuff that looks exciting and interesting? She's only 2, right? Do a toy rotation too, so that she's got new stuff coming in and out all the time. That might help. Yeah, that's sort of like saying, how do we stop the alcoholic in the household from not drinking all the beer in the fridge? Don't have beer in the fridge. It's like that. 3-year-old boy, how to manage their emotions and outbursts. No, you don't do that. Validating their feelings without doing these mini therapy sessions. Being a leader does validate their feelings, by the way. 3-year-old boy, how to manage their emotions and outbursts. They manage them. Your calmness is what does it. They feed off your energy. That's all this is. It calms them right down. I've worked with hundreds of kids, violent teenagers. My connection with them, getting close to them and being very calm, except when I'm goofing around with them, I'm very loud and crazy. But if they're acting out, I get very quiet and calm. I'm very calm. That's what calms them down. Okay? It's your calmness. So it's your energy, whatever you want to call it. So you control yourself and they can control. And be 100% consistent. A lot of parents are inconsistent. Well, we had a really good week, but then, we were tired, so we didn't follow through with stuff. That's on you. Throws them off. It's not fair to them. You're not willing. If you can't be consistent, you can't expect them to calm down. They need to know that they can rely on you to be 100% reliable and predictable. I was 100% predictable. My kids knew exactly how I'd react to anything. Exactly. There was no deviation. They knew exactly what mom would do. So why would they act out if they knew mom would take care of it? Right? Got to be consistent. Makes them feel safe. So I got to scroll ahead to make sure you're still here when I answer your questions. Holy moly, I've missed a whole bunch. Oh, well. And also, I don't just answer questions because most questions are around discipline. And anyone who's been following me for more than a minute knows I'm not about discipline. I'm about connection. If you're not connected with your kids, discipline is just mean. The connection, the bonding, the making them feel good about themselves, increasing their self-esteem with the connection, that is what makes all this work. The connection is the engine with all this stuff. Everything else is just the chassis and the steering wheel. The engine is the connection, your bond with your kid, making them feel good. If they feel good, they do good. If they feel bad, they do bad. So that's why I don't just answer questions, because everyone must know how to fix their kids. It has nothing to do with them. It's you. And I often say to clients, they'll say, well, you haven't met my kid yet. And I always say, yes, I have. I've met your kids. They just had different names, and it was 20 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever. I've met them all, right? I managed to get respect with all the kids and teenagers. So was it them or was it me? It's always you. Everyone wants to know how to fix your kids. You're not fixing your kids. Don't blame them for this. They're just a reflection of your parenting. You fix yourself. The kids will follow, right? It's all you. You have so much more power than you realize. You're just not using it. That's all. You said, let me see if I can find the original. Can my 3-year-old nephew influence the behavior of my 2-year-old daughter permanently if they continue to play together? He hits, yells, and doesn't listen. Her behavior has changed recently. I would not expose my 2-year-old to that all the time. I would say to the other parents, look, he's hitting her, he's being rough. I'm just going to take a break for a while. There's no way I would expose my child to that. I just wouldn't. He hits, yells, doesn't listen. If he's hitting my child, no, I'd say, sorry, I don't want my kid getting hit. If I would be quite happy to lose that relationship with the family to protect my child. I wouldn't expose them to it. I'll be honest, I wouldn't. If I had to be around that, I'd be right with my kid the whole time. I wouldn't leave them alone. Yeah, I won't have a 2-year-old being beaten up. We've done all 3 weeks of the behavior board. Where do we go from here? I've seen improvement. Okay, well, you can just keep going with that. If you want to continue, that would be the courses, unfortunately. Or you can just keep watching. It's just follow through. All the information is in all my free stuff. It's just bundled up and packaged into the course, right? It's all planned out for you. But yeah, just keep watching then. If you don't want to buy the course, all the answers are here. You can Google anything. You can Google BratBusters, any topic on parenting, it'll probably pop up. I've done thousands and thousands of videos, lots of podcasts. We've done 120 something now, my daughter said. Pardon me. Oh, I got hiccups again. Oh, shoot. Oh. Sorry, I gotta stop. Once I start getting a hiccup, it's not gonna stop. I've had them like 4 times over the last day. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, just a sec. What was I just saying? Yeah, my daughter said we've done 120 something podcasts. So you can type in BratBusters podcast and then any topic, or go on YouTube and all of the all of the videos they're nothing but the podcasts. Nope. Good grief. Why do I get the hiccups over the holidays? Why is that? A lot of talking too. Evidently it's a lot of talking. Okay. Just a sec. I'm going to look up my channel just to see what's on there. BratBusters. And I know lots of people are, all of the videos are the podcasts. So you can literally, there's that little search thing. You can put anything in there. Let's put in tantrums. Oh, then lots of stuff comes up. It's not just the podcast. Tons and tons of videos come up on every single topic. So like I said, whenever people do a course and whenever people are selling their courses, it's just bundling up all the information that's out there for free anyway. It's just organizing it all for you. That's all. It's all out there for free. But you're going to have to sift through it all. That's the only difference. Someone said, when he's bored, he begins engaging in connection-seeking behaviors. You mean attention-getting behaviors? And I don't know how old he is. I don't know what the problem is with that. But, oh, sugar. Oh. Okay. Okay, I knew this was going to come up, the snubbing. As soon as I said the word snubbing, I knew it was going to be an ongoing thing. How is snubbing and silent treatment different when toddler has tantrum when not getting their way? Well, the silent treatment I sort of associate with a long period of time, right? Whereas a snub is just pulling away temporarily to let them know what they're doing is not okay. It's a little bit different, okay? And also the silent treatment is based on anger. The snubbing is based on just letting them know, right? It's more of a discipline thing. Anyway, tantrums, when you are ignoring a tantrum, I don't use the word snubbing with tantrums or anything. So when you're ignoring a tantrum, you are nearby filing your nails and you want to look like you know they're having a tantrum, but you're just waiting for it to finish. Sorry, hiccups. Okay, it's very important that they know you're waiting for them to stop, because as soon as they do, you're going to connect. So they're having a fit, you're filing your nails, you're looking, don't look at them, waiting. As soon as they stop, oh, you all done? You want to read a book? They start up again, you go, oh, never mind, start filing your nails again. They will connect the dots, okay? You say more with words or without words than you do with any, like silence is golden, in other words. And they're learning, this ain't working. Attention is feeding a tantrum, okay? You're not ignoring their feelings or their emotions, you're ignoring their demand. A tantrum is a demand to get what they want. That's all it is. It's just based on anger. It's not based on huge feelings and emotions. They're just mad that they're not getting their own way. So that's why you need to ignore that. You don't want to give it any power. Any attention is fertilizing it. Even looking at them. I would never look at a kid having a tantrum. Just filing my nails, just waiting. As soon as they're done, oh, you all done? Do you want to go outside and play? No, I hate you. Okay, never mind. See? I ignore the crazy and I reward the calm. If you're not going to connect right after a tantrum or attempt to connect right after a tantrum, don't even ignore a tantrum. I think that's mean. What I'm teaching them is when you're crazy, you're going to get ignored. Okay? As soon as you calm down and talk nicely to me, then you've deserved the attention. Yeah, don't give that any attention. They're just mad. It's just a demand for what they want. That's all it is. Parents really struggle like this. And I've said this a million times in a million different ways, but a tantrum is not based on big emotions. It's based on a loss of emotional control and not getting what they want, when they want, and how they want it. It's their way of trying to change your mind, try to get what they want, try to control and manipulate you. That's all it is. You do not need to give that any attention. They'll even say, I need a hug. Nobody loves me. I'm filing my nails. They'll say anything to pull you into it. You stay on the high road. That's the calm road. Let them join you. Too many parents go down to the low, crazy road with the kid. And then the ladder's knocked out from under you. You can't get back up there again. It's too late. The next day you might be able to start again. But they've lost respect for you like that. Now you're part of the crazy. They just gotcha. They know it too. Any advice for a 6-year-old who's recently become angry, hitting, etc.? I need to know what's going on. I would ask some questions there. I would ask the school, say, have you seen anything happen or whatever at school? And I'd ask the kid, has anything upset you? I'm right here if you want to talk to me about anything. I'd want to know why the sudden change. They often change at 3, but not 4, 5, 6, 7, unless something external has happened usually. Or unless maybe they're not feeling well or something. Yeah, I'd have to investigate that. How to fix separation anxiety with 17-month-old. Usually only goes on for about maybe 3 to 6 weeks. Like if you're dropping them off at daycare or whatever. But you do the dump and run. You want to make the exit as fast as possible. You say, okay, love you, see you later. End on that cheery little note and then leave. They're usually fine within a minute after you leave anyway. And then when you come back, don't make a big deal out of the reunion either. Oh my God, I've missed you all day. Just say, hey, did you have a good day? Keep it all cheery. Not consoling, not that, just keep it all cheery. They'll get over it eventually. About 3 to 6 weeks. Okay, I got to move over to TikTok if you want to join me over there. If not, I'm on YouTube the whole time. You can check out my website. It's BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my boot camp courses. You can look into coaching if you want. I've got a huge wait list, but I'll get to it eventually. And then you can listen to the podcast, BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms. And what else? Oh, my daughter and I do it together. And if you want to watch us, it's on YouTube. And I just want to thank you for your support with that podcast. Our aim in the first year was 10,000 downloads and we hit 1 million. So we're just so great. Reach is really important to us because I want to make a lot of change. I really want to make a difference in this world. I want all parents to have as much fun parenting as I did. That's always my goal. Raise nice kids too, but that's a byproduct of all this. I want you to have fun parenting like I did. I had a blast. I got all that pesky discipline and respect cemented when they were tiny, and then I just relaxed and enjoyed right through the teen years. That's always my goal. That's why reach is so important. I want to share this information. There's lots of other people using my information and making money off that. I'm fine with that. They're spreading all this and taking credit. I don't care. Leadership is the way to go. You can be friends with your kids, but you're also someone who inspires them to bring out the best in themselves. Okay. I got to go over to TikTok. Happy parenting. Don't tell you. Okay. My almost 5-year-old Amanda, has been almost perfect her whole life, minus a few rough moments where she had attitude. Oh, hiccups. But didn't last long. Will she always be easy or will it get rough as she gets older? If you're a leader, it never gets hard. Work on your leadership. Remember, it's never the kids, it's you. They're just reflecting your parenting. So work on yourself, get your leadership cemented. Stay calm during the storms, crazy during the rainbows, all the fun stuff. But yeah, they don't have to be hard. My favorite age is teenagers. I think partly because they do provide a bit of challenge, whereas the younger kids didn't for me. So, but yeah, teenagers are definitely, your hiccups. I keep getting the odd one. Anyway, I think I've been eating too much too, I'll be honest. That's okay. Anyway, let's get going with the live. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Lisa. I'm a parenting coach. If you check out my website, it's BratBusters.com. You can get my free behavior board, my boot camp courses. You can look into coaching. Sorry, I've got a huge wait list, but I'm going to get to that eventually. I'm stressed out over that because I haven't sent out. Anyway, I haven't been able to get to it for a while. So anyway, and then also the podcast, BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms, and we save them on YouTube if you want to watch us do them. My daughter and I do it together. Okay, let's get going. Okay, just basic stuff. If you have questions about basic discipline, check out my free behavior board. It's a mini course. It's actually 2 mini courses. It's one for 3 and above and one for toddlers, so under 3. So you might want to check that out. If it's just like someone just asked about a toddler who pushes, check out the free behavior board. I don't always want to go through all the basic stuff on these lives because I've done thousands of them. So, it's sort of the basic stuff is all on that behavior board. And that's free. If you want more, you go to the boot camp courses or the podcast. It goes into more detail. You can literally go on YouTube and search in my channel, BratBusters Parenting, and just search any topic. So we might have already done a podcast on it. There's more detail in the podcast. I probably should stop talking about coaching because the wait list is so huge. By the way, if you're really in crisis, I don't mean just kids driving you nuts. Crisis, red zone stuff, dangerous stuff with teenagers and that. You can, potentially just email the website and tell us, and you might be put ahead in the lineup because I do specialize in teen crisis work. So if it's anything red zone or crisis work, I might put you ahead of the list because it's getting out of hand right now. So, and I want to help you out if you're really in crisis. And if you are, and you don't do that, just go find someone else. Or if you can't afford coaching, it's a financial investment for sure. If you can't afford it, go to the schools. The schools have phenomenal resources, and a lot of those are completely free. So go to schools. They're wonderful resources. If you can't find a resource through your kid's school, phone around to the big schools. Okay. Even in different cities, ask them. Go to Facebook groups. They're all free. They might have support systems for you. So if you're really struggling with stuff, because coaching is expensive, and not everyone can afford it. And I don't want to not be able to help you, but there's other people out there who can help you potentially. And they're, schools especially, they might have free stuff. Anyway, the behavior board is at BratBusters.com. That's my website. Sorry, I've been eating too much. I just feel so gross tonight. I can't even tell you. That's why I keep getting the hiccups, because I've been eating too much. Okay. Oh, thanks for that, Darcy. That's sweet. I do get when I'm out in public, I do get recognized every day. A lot of people take pictures. I don't know why, but anyway, that always strikes me as funny. But anyway, they want to take a picture with me. It's just bizarre. But then some people cry. It's just so awkward. What do you say to that, right? Oh, anyway, it's just awkward. I think if I was younger, it would be kind of fun, but I'm 65. I mean, you kind of, it's just kind of awkward. It's kind of funny. It would be a lot more fun if I was younger, but I just feel kind of silly. I don't know how to explain it. Okay. 3-year-old twins don't listen. That's because you're not listenable. You've got to earn respect to get it. Everyone expects to just be handed respect from their kids. You got to earn it. Are you a leader? Should you be respected and listened to? Think about that. That's all I'm teaching here. I teach leadership parenting. I don't teach kidding. I teach parenting. Are you respectable? Are you listenable? Do you earn that or not? Work on yourself. That's all I'm teaching here. What age do toddlers listen? They never listen if you're not a leader. They never listen to a leader, someone who isn't a leader. Okay, if you're a leader, they all listen. You ever had anyone that you look up to that makes you feel great, that you respect? Do you ever ignore them? No. Even as an adult, you listen to everything they say because you respect them and you look up to them, right? That's all I'm teaching here. That's all I'm teaching. Yeah, they'll never listen if you're not a leader. Why should they? Why should they listen to you if you're not a leader? Do you yell? That's not, leaders don't yell. Why would they listen to a yeller? I've never yelled. I've never been yelled at either. So, are you listenable? Think about it. It's all you. It's never your kids. And whenever parents are going on and on and on about how difficult in coaching, well, you don't know my kids. Yeah, I do. I've met them. They just had different names, right, throughout the decades. And they'll say, yeah, but they're really next level. Do you think I was ever asked to work with an easy kid when I used to do this? Like when I used to mentor kids, it was always the challenging kids. And I always ask them this. So let's say you dumped me off at your house and left me alone with your kids. Do you think they'd listen to me? And every single parent has said, yeah, probably. So is it the adult or is it the kid? It's always the adult. Never blame the kid. It's not fair to them. They're just reflecting you. Is it attachment or behavioral or both? Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, someone else is asking someone else something, I think. Someone said, that's not fair. What's not fair? Is it me blaming you for your kid's behavior? If that is the case, by the way, if it isn't, that's fine. But let's say you get offended when I say it's all you. Think about that. Would you rather blame your kids or yourself? Who do you love more, you or your kids? I'm always amazed that when parents say, way to parent shame, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing it. Like if you're going to be ashamed don't be ashamed of yourself. Just take it. Say, you know what? It is me. I can do this. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to inspire you. I'm trying to empower you, And it's interesting. People will blame their children, but then they get offended when I try and blame them. Fascinates me. My head can't even go there. You'd rather blame your kids than yourself. I find that fascinating. I know it's just self-defense. You're feeling insecure. I don't get that much these days, but I used to get that a lot when I first was becoming, getting a lot of followers on here. They hated that. They hated it that I said it was your fault. Always take responsibility for your kids' behavior. Always. Is it always your fault? No. But you want to treat it like it is. Whenever I was working with kids and they acted out under my mentorship, I always thought, what am I missing here? What am I missing? That's how I deal with kids, right? Troubled teens, whatever. What am I missing here? What am I doing wrong? Always look to myself. Are you looking into training people to be coaches to help you with coaching? God, no. That would be terrifying. The reason is a lot of people are using my information and selling courses and making a lot of money off my information. I don't have a problem with that. As long as you use my information. I mean, I can't stop them, put it that way. It's kind of dirty, but I can't stop them. But never use my information to sell coaching. Coaching is serious stuff. You got people's lives in your hands sometimes if it's crisis work with teenagers and all that. So yeah, coaching is something I don't think I could ever train anyone to do that. I've been working with kids and teens like for decades now, and it's heavily experience-based. I take it very seriously. Coaching is hardcore experience-based. So I would never teach anyone how to do this because I have to think on my feet all the time. I'll often get clients who are maybe sisters or neighbors or friends, and they'll compare notes and they'll say, did you get the same Lisa I got? The information is so different. They're different families. They get different information. They get different advice, right? You have to be able to think on your feet fast. And it's a big responsibility. So yeah, I couldn't teach someone. I would never do that. Nope. Because I don't teach methods. I don't know what I teach. I don't know how to explain it. I read body language. I figure out what they're struggling with. I'll tell them something and I watch their body language and I think, are they strong enough to do it or can they not do it? Is there something else going on? Has the kid something happened to the kid behind the parent's back? Think about it. Think about the responsibility. You really want that? I take it really seriously. You're so hardcore. You betcha. You betcha. You know why? Because what if people really, and you get this when, I'm older and I've been doing this for a long time. When you get people who really are they going to do what I say? You better be careful with what you're saying. If people are going to, and these are their kids that we're dealing with here. So when I say something, it's been well practiced over decades, thought out, it's all been worked through already. I'm not just making this up is what I'm saying. It's been proven to work with most people. It's the general information I give out here. Coaching, it's different. It's personal. It's very different. But yeah, you gotta, when you're helping people, you gotta kind of know what you're doing. I expect basic rules and respect. Nothing has worked. Well, you can't expect it. You got to earn it. Have you worked for it? Do you deserve it? Are you respectable? Think about that. That's all I'm teaching here is how to set you up as a leader. So kids they just automatically respect a leader. And they can't help it. It's automatic. They look up to leaders. They can't help it. Children need, crave, and want leadership, and they're drawn to a leader. You're like a magnet when you get good at this, and they don't respect you if you're not. So, are you respectable? Because you said I don't expect anything. I work for it. I earn it. Right? Even in coaching, like it comes up, how do I explain this? Even in coaching, sometimes people will try and take over the coaching. They think that they know where we want to go with it. It's not about me telling them what they want to hear. It's very much about me leading in coaching. It's the same with parenting. It's you lead, they will follow. I'm not trying to please anyone in coaching. I'm not trying to please kids when I'm raising them or working with them. I'm giving them what they need, what builds them up, what empowers them, what's going to make their life better, right? I'm not trying to please anyone here. I'm trying to say and what's going to help you become a better parent. That's all I'm doing here. So if you're respectable, you'll get respect. You got to earn it. You got to work for it. Do you ever yell? Leaders don't yell. I've never yelled. I've never been yelled at either, which helped, because how do I earn it? Just keep watching. Check out my free behavior board. Keep watching. I got tons of podcasts and everything out there. Go on my YouTube channel. You'll see all the podcasts, all the lives, all the videos. They're all on YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. Yeah, someone said, we all have crazy 2-year-olds. Well, they're just forming. They are kind of crazy, aren't they? They've got one marble and some tumbleweed up here. They're just brand new, fresh human beings. Imagine if you've only been in the world for 2 years, and the first year you were a potato laying on a mattress. Oh, one of my clients called their baby a pet rock. I said, can I share that? And he said, sure, you can even tell my name. And I won't do that. He said, yeah, because I said, oh, do you want to talk about the baby? He said, no, they're just a pet rock. I call it potato laying on a mattress. It's not always the parent's fault. That is true, but that's the way you approach it. Always, 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 always. If they've got something here, I'll tell you why. I only worked with kids with behavioral issues, right? Okay, because I was a behavioral mentor. Now, if it wasn't my fault, it's still my job to figure out how to get the best out of them. You see? It's always my fault. That's the way I view it. That's what a leader does. A leader leads. Right? My job is to figure out how to get the best, how to connect with them and how to get the best out of them. That is my job. Absolutely. I won't go on about it too much here, but I could tell you a million different stories of kids I've worked with who were next level difficult. And they ended up treating me like gold. I earned that. I worked my butt off to get that. I went home crying sometimes. It was very, very difficult because some teenagers can be very nasty. But I never showed fear. I never show anger, disappointment, or frustration. Okay, I'm very careful. That's cute. My husband loves your advice. A lot of men hire me. Like when I work with sometimes just single men, single dads who are, trying to parent with their ex and all that. Or dads will hire me and then their mom doesn't want to come on. It's usually the women who want to work with me, who find me, because men don't tend to research parenting as much as women. But yeah, it's the pool story that men like. If you haven't seen the pool story, I strongly recommend you look at it. It just kind of encompasses how I treat kids. I don't let anything go. I deal with bad behavior, but my focus is always on the good kid. If they feel good, they do good. If they feel bad, they do bad. My goal is not to discipline them. My goal is to have them self-discipline. Like my kids, I didn't discipline them. They were self-disciplining. Big difference. Huge difference. But I worked for that. I earned that. What's your opinion on potty training age? What did you do with your kids? So that's a whole system. It's in my courses. My kids were 2.5. I could have potty trained my daughter at 2, I'm pretty sure. But I decided to wait because I didn't want accidents. I trained my son in 1 day, no night diapers, no pull-ups, nothing. My daughter in 2 days, no night diapers, no pull-ups, nothing. But I was already a leader, so it was easier for me. But it's a really good way to exercise leadership too. But it's a whole system. It's based on incentive. It's a reward system. But yeah, 2.5 is a really good age for most kids. Oh, thanks for your support. Yeah, that podcast, we're just so proud of it. My daughter's, she started it all. She does all the work. And I'm just the face of all this, but she does all the marketing and planning. Anyway, our goal in the first year of the podcast, because we just started it a year ago, was 10,000 downloads. And we hit 1 million in the first year, just bowled over by it. My goal with my message is reach. I want to reach as many people as possible because I really believe in this because it raises kids with high self-esteem. They don't tend to be whiners or complainers. They tend to be problem solvers and they tell you everything. They trust you, right? So that's what you want. And you want to have fun with them. My goal isn't that you raise nice kids. That's a byproduct of all this. My real goal is I want you to have as much fun parenting as I did. It was a blast. I got all that pesky discipline cemented when they were tiny. And then I could just relax and enjoy them right through the teen years. There's the odd hiccup, but nothing big, right? I want you to enjoy parenting. Oh, hi, Tabitha. Merry Christmas. Yeah, we had a good Christmas. Lots of food. I've been hiccuping for the last 2 days just because when I eat too much, I hiccup a lot. Serves me right. Said, how can I get help? Just keep watching, keep listening. You can check out I do have courses and coaching and all that. It's all on BratBusters.com. Okay. Someone said, how many years? Jill, how many years for what? How many years have I been alive? Okay. How long do you have to do the pesky discipline? I would say my kids were sorted out by 3. I had respect at 3. That was it by 3. That's the fork in the road, by the way. When they turn 3, they stop and think, do my parents know what they're doing or not? In other words, am I going to get easier or more difficult? So it's that fork in the road. They stop and think. You can just see it. They blow out their candles and they go, what am I going to do here? My kids knew I was in charge. They knew mom knew what she was doing. A good example of that was I remember once one of them was complaining in the tub because dad was bathing them and they yelled out, I want mom. And I yelled from the family room, well, you're stuck with dad, so deal with it. And they went, oh, okay. Like that, they knew that mom didn't take any crap. So yeah, and I was funny. I was fun. So yeah, by about 3. If you've been a leader in those first 3 years, the 3 gets really easy. I don't teach my style a lot. You're all going to have your own styles, by the way. Mine is humor. I'm a total nutcase. So humor, my kids were raised with a lot of it. They just understood that. So yeah, humor is my style, but you don't have to be funny, but you should be fun. Find a way to be fun with your kids. They love fun. So yeah, like every day I did laundry and all of my underpants went on my head. My leg holes were my eye holes and I became the panty monster every single day. So I chased my kids around the house with underpants on my head. You don't have to do that, but they do love fun. Fun is their love language. I love when you say build their self-esteem. That when they feel good, they do good. Yeah, you want them to feel good. You want them to feel empowered. My daughter says, she goes, I always felt like I had control over my own life from a really young age. She goes, I knew if I made a poor choice, you'd come in with a consequence. But I was never really angry. It was just like, oh, that was an interesting choice. Here's your consequence. And they just took it. It was that easy. There's no shame in doing something naughty. There's just shame in not following through with the consequence, not being accountable. But yeah, I never yelled at them. Yelling, most parents yell, by the way. You yell because you don't know what else to do. And it does work in the short term. Okay. But it's fear and intimidation based. You don't want to continue with that. Okay. And when you yell, are you a licensed doctor? I'm not a doctor. I have no qualifications. I just have full lady experience. Okay. So I want to make that very clear. I am not a doctor. I have no degrees, nothing. Okay. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Never mind. Couldn't have been important. Okay. Oh, I love this question. I can't believe people don't ask this more. How did you do that when there was nothing good? Okay, well, I always managed to find the good in kids. No good grades, no good behavior, nothing at all. Look at the pool story. Check out that pool story. It's on, you just Google BratBusters pool story. That'll explain it. You pull the good out of them. I'm very good at that. I'm very good at finding the good in all kids. And I worked with troubled teenagers. I was really good at that. God, I'd love to tell you this one story, but I can't. I tell a lot more in coaching, but it's identifiable. That's why a lot of my stories, I've mixed up enough facts that the people who I'm talking about wouldn't even recognize it. And coaching stories, I've always had permission to tell them, but I never use names, obviously. But yeah, I would love to tell you a story. But the pool story will explain how to pull the good out of them. Okay, so it's your job to find it. That was what when I was working with kids, it was all behavioral issues. When I was working with them, that was my job. I had to dig through a lot of crap to find the good stuff, but I was good at pulling it out. So. Oh, the yelling. Yeah. Okay. Yelling works in the short term. Okay. It's interesting with kids though. When you yell at kids, they don't tend to get mad at you. They feel like crap about themselves. They internalize it and it breaks them down over time. I won't go on about it because I don't want to make you feel bad. But yeah, yelling, you all know you shouldn't be yelling, but most parents do because it does work in the short term and you're losing it because you don't know what else to do. I'm teaching you what else to do. Okay. So yeah, they internalize it. So, and yellers become yellers and they're never going to respect you. Yellers are never respected. So, and the old fashioned authority style parenting isn't a horrible way to parent, but it is based on fear and intimidation a lot of the time. And they will rebel in the teen years. They never rebel against a leader. They can't. There's nothing to rebel against. So it'll make sense if you've been watching me for a while. It'll make more sense. Right now it sounds kind of what, but it's just the way it is. Because they're telling you everything. When you're a good leader, your kids are telling you everything. Your teenagers. One of my kids said something like this to me once. They said, "Well, there's no point in rebelling because you know more about everything that's out there than they do, than the friends do." And so I educated myself on what was out there. I talked to police, I talked to principals, I talked to teachers. What is going on at school? Are there any drugs going around at school? What particular, I was always educating. I was always one step ahead of kids. So I could educate my kids and parents on their kids, because I was coaching and all that. So you got to make sure you know what's out there. And I was also on all the committees for the parents and all that stuff. And they've got those council parents and all that. They know what's going on. They got their finger on the pulse, right? Especially ones that have older kids and they've been through it all, So yeah, they know what's going on. Do you have any experience with foster parents or foster kids? Yeah, a lot of my clients hire me and they have foster kids that are long-term. They've been with them long-term, or they've adopted them, like foster to adopt kind of stuff, or they're, fostering to adopt. So yeah, but if it's just short-term fostering, not so much, because we're investing in tomorrow. A lot of the stuff as they get older, especially, we're investing in tomorrow. I don't do any quick fixes. It doesn't work that way. Takes 3 to 6 weeks before you start to see results and 3 to 6 months before it's cemented, if you're consistent. Okay. Yeah, you're asking about, this is Tabitha. You're asking, what do I do when my 2.5-year-old is screaming and it's so high pitched it hurts mine and her baby sister's ears, 11 months. She only does it when eating usually. Yeah, that's a tricky one because you can't stop them from yelling. You just can't. You can just go, ooh, that's a lot, and then kind of ignore them while they're yelling and pay a lot of attention to the other kid and talk very quietly. Go like that. They tend to quiet down because they want to hear what you're saying. So you say, oh, that's loud. Kind of go like that. And then, oh, what have you got here? Oh, wow. Yeah, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. You can't stop a kid from yelling. Best way to discipline ASD child. That's all coaching. Autism spectrum disorder. That's all coaching because they're all so unique, right? I always say we're throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. And I need to know what stuck in the past and what didn't too. So I need some background on that. So I don't generalize with special needs. It might all be the same stuff I'm talking about here, but sometimes it's not. Is there a theme to this live? No, I don't have themes. I just free form it. And so you can ask whatever you want, but I don't answer everything because most people ask about discipline and I try and not to just focus on that. because I'm not about disciplining. It's just something you got to do to get past, but I'm all about connecting with kids. I want to make them feel good. I'm very good at pulling out the good in kids. I'm very good at making them feel good. And that they feel good, they do good, right? They feel bad, they do bad. I don't let anything go though. I deal with bad behavior, but it's fast. Get it over with. I don't discuss it. I just deal with it. That's the pool story. Check that out. You can Google BratBusters pool story and it'll pop up. And that explains how I treat kids. It's interesting because when you're asking me about discipline, you're basically asking me how to fix your kids. But really, it's all about you. It has nothing to do with your kids. You lead, they will follow. Okay? Everyone wants to fix their kids, but that's really not what I do. I set you up as a calm leader, and your kids will follow you. Calms them right down. All children need, crave, and want a leader. Okay, I'll tell you what. This is chastity. Can I change the consequence from cleaning to writing sentences? I don't like to use writing, like it's kind of homework, and learning as a consequence. I just don't, because writing is something that they need to do with. I don't want to put a negative connotation on writing and homework and schoolwork and learning and all that. But cleaning, I don't mind putting a negative on that. No. I personally love cleaning. It's like a hobby. I love it. But I don't mind. And people say, how do I make chores fun for kids? Because they want everything to be fun. You're the pleaser parent if you want that. I don't think everything should be fun, because that's not life. That's not normal. You got to learn how to do stuff you don't like that isn't fun. Unfortunately, I love cleaning, so that would have been fun for me. So yeah, always did like it. Do you know, it's kind of embarrassing, but all the cleaning stuff that I got for Christmas, like I got 2 big things of Pine Sol. I was more excited for that. Like jewelry, I could care less about that stuff, but cleaning products or anything hygiene related, I love cleaning myself too. Isn't that crazy? Who would get Pine Sol for Christmas? And I was really excited about it, as they knew I would be. How to speak sternly without raising your voice? I don't speak sternly. Why would you do that? So you're the authority, you're trying to intimidate. If you're trying to intimidate, you're on the wrong channel. I don't do that at all. No. If I'm disciplining, I'm almost whispering. I'm like, okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Okay, so here's your consequence, and I'll give you 15 minutes to do it. That's how I talk. Yeah, sternly is intimidation. Would you ever expand your business and provide tools for other? Okay, the reason I never would teach coaching, I get asked this a lot, and some people have hired me just to figure out what I do so they can do it themselves. Coaching is thinking on your feet. I give different advice to every single parent based on their personality and their family dynamics. Okay, if you think you can handle that and do it responsibly, I'm not going to get involved in that. It's a huge responsibility. I would never put my name on someone else going out and coaching people, because I deal with a lot of crisis work too, life and death stuff. So I would never want to be responsible for someone else maybe doing that wrong. See? So no, I would never teach it. I couldn't fathom teaching it. Couldn't fathom it. Pine Sol, yeah. I won't even go into everything else I got. A lot of cleaning stuff. Oh, God. It's funny, I'm laughing because I'm so excited by it. I can't wait to go and use it again. I mop every day. I clean the bathroom twice a day. I just love it. It's relaxing. Okay. And I love having people over, because then I've actually got something to clean after they leave. The most fun for me entertaining is when they leave and I can clean everything. And I clean everything. Ugh. I'm nuts. I just love it. And I was very careful not to put that on my kids, because people, and I'm not OCD, by the way, at all. I just love it. It's like a hobby. It's meditation to me. It's relaxing. It's therapeutic. Anyway, I would never put that on my kids, though. I said they had to look after themselves, put dishes away, but I never expected that level. What I would do is when they made their beds, they'd go off to school. Then I'd make their beds the way I wanted, but I would never expect them to do it. So don't put your crazy stuff on your kids. How can you be nuts and calm? Crazy when I'm playing. When we're playing and goofing around, I'm insane. But that's my personality type. I'm very goofy. Yeah, I don't like to show it in public. I only show it around kids. I'm kind of a nutcase. The other day, my my daughter, I arrived at my son's house, and my granddaughter's almost 2, and she yelled out, "Grandma," and then she said, "Grandma funny." Grandma's crazy for sure. But I'm calm when they're acting out, I whisper, I'm very calm. So when I'm disciplining, I get very quiet. So I'm calm during the storms. That's the discipline. But I'm crazy during the rainbows. That's all the other times. And fun is their love language. Their love language is fun. Happiness, goofiness. Yeah. So calm during the storms, crazy during the rainbows. Does that make sense now? Sorry, I just lost it. Sorry, I got an alarm. That makes sense? I always feel, parenting, I don't know how to explain this. My mom once said to me, she goes, "How do you do that?" My mom was a leader, but she was never kooky. Like I'm very kooky. And I don't show this in public it's just embarrassing, but I'm nuts. I love playing with kids. I just think it's fun. So my mom said, she goes, "How do you do that?" And I said, "What?" And I was standing there with underpants on my head. She said, "How do you're so goofy with your kids. You're like a big kid yourself." But she goes, "But they respect you. Like whatever I said, they did, or so." She goes, "How do you mix the two?" She couldn't understand that. I still don't know how to explain that. But that's how I get the best out of kids. But I pull it away fast if they act out. Like if my kids had ever been rude to me or acted out while I was chasing them around the house with underpants on my head, I would have stopped and gone like this. "I'll tell you what, we'll try again tomorrow." And I would just take them off. That's all I would say. Okay. And they would go, "Oh," they would get it right away. So I get real quiet if they act out. I get very quiet just for a minute. And then I just back to serious for a while. See, they lose fun, mom, fast. That's how I did it. That was my personality. I don't teach that a lot, but that was really all I had to do. If mom got real quiet real fast, that was like, whoops. And they'd go, "Sorry, mom." "That's okay. That's okay. We'll try again tomorrow." They would never say to me, "Please, can you do it again, please?" Because that's rude, right? I would just say, "Well, no." And what about when they don't get it? That is so hard. What do you mean don't get it? What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Don't get what? This is Talia. So how did you stop it? Oh, they catch on. How did I stop it? So I was talking about running around the house with underpants on my head. If my kids had acted out, and I just would have said, "Oh, okay, we'll try again tomorrow." They just figure it out. They just do. Because they learned with me. Like I am very fun, goofy with kids. I'm always chatting with them. I just love talking to kids and singing with them and all that. But if they ever acted out, I got real boring real fast. Not angry, just I got real boring real fast like that. I switched it off fast. And they connect it very quickly. Kids are smarter than you think. And plus, it's not what you say, it's your body language. They pick up on the nuances better than you think they do. I like this. All kids love me but my own. That's cute. No, what is average and too long for a tantrum? It can go anywhere from 5 minutes to 5 hours, depending on the age and the intensity and how spoiled they are. If you're used to giving into tantrums, they can go forever because they're going to keep going until they get their own way. If you ever give into one, they don't forget that. All I have to do is just keep going. Someone said, "How is that my fault? How is what your fault?" My son just turned 2 last week. He has a vast vocabulary. He just started stuttering. Normal? Not necessarily. You might want to go to a speech pathologist and ask their advice. Yeah, just see if they think it's a stutter or he's just learning or, I can't comment on that. Like I'm not a speech pathologist and I don't know what's going on. So yeah, just have him assessed. See if it's a concern or just a temporary thing. Do you do countdowns? Oof. There's 3 things I hate. Timeout, diversion, and countdown is the worst. If they're doing something naughty and you count down, you're just training them. I'm afraid of you. That's how you sound, because you have to count. You don't know how to do it right away, so you're just counting down. You better stop that by the time I get to 3, or you're in big trouble. You go 1, 2, and they start pounding their little sister harder and harder because they've got 3 whole counts to do that, right? Then you get to 3 and they break. There's no consequence for what they did. You look like you're afraid of them because you didn't know what to do. So you're doing 1, 2, 2.5. Yeah, it's my absolute least favorite commonly used discipline method is the countdown. You can count down to get them to do something good. Like if you're going out the door, okay, we're leaving in 5 minutes. We're leaving in 2 minutes. We're leaving in 1 minute. You can do the countdown to get them to do something good, but not to stop something bad, because you're just training them. It's fine to be rotten in the short term, just not in the long term. It's a mixed message. It makes you look weak. You're never going to get respect by doing it. What do we do instead? Everything else I'm talking about. Check out my free behavior board. It's on my website, BratBusters.com. Sorry, I'm just reading one on YouTube here. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by this. This is Ambrosia. How can I help my 7-year-old? He gets extremely emotional when he can't hang out with his friends. How can I get him to be more understanding? So is this for play dates where you're driving them back and forth, or is this the kids out in the street that he can't play with? I don't know the context around that. And he's 7. Why can't he understand that? You can say, okay, well, you got to do homework, or it's too late tonight or something. So I don't know why he can't understand that if you lay it all out for him ahead of time. Do you control your facial expressions when disciplining? Oh my God, yes. It's all about tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language. It's so important. I'll tell you this cute story. I had this one client, and she was adorable. I got permission to tell this. She was so cute. I don't remember the age of her kid, or let's say he was older, maybe 16-year-old kid or something. And he had a consequence. He had like 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher was his consequence. So she said to me, I told him he had 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher, and he gave me the finger and left the room. And I said, well, what did you do? And I said, show me exactly what you said. She said, I said to him, you got 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher. And I said, you rolled your eyes. She goes, no, I didn't. I said, yeah, you did. You can't do that. And I said, do it again and try not to roll your eyes. She goes like this. She goes, you got 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher. I said, you did it again. So I said, next time, do it like this. You got 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher. She just couldn't not show her disgust. She was mad. So of course he gave her the finger and walked out. What if you're talking to your husband or your wife and they say to you, oh, can you hand me that over there? You know, wouldn't you say what? Like, it's very rude. There's a lot of nuances in how we relate to people and how we communicate with them. So yeah, you just say it like this. Oh, you got 15 minutes to empty the dishwasher, and that starts now. Just try and look like nothing. You know, all discipline should be a business transaction. 0 emotions. 0. Yeah, just trying to remove them. That mom was so cute. We got the giggles doing that. It was so much fun. She just couldn't not do it. She couldn't not roll her eyes. She was so used to doing it, right? And the funny thing is, she used to get mad at her teenage son for rolling his eyes at her, but she did it to him. So she was cute. Yeah, you know, I get asked this every single day, literally every day I'm coaching, which is most days. And it's how do I control my own emotions? And I often tell this story. I used to teach aerobics back when there's no aerobics anymore, but they used to be highly choreographed. You know, it was just just like you see, like it's just crazy. You know, I loved it. And I had quite a few people who, you know, I talked to, but this one person said to me, I think it was a man. He said, well, he says, it's great once I'm here, because he was really working on his fitness. He said, it's great once I'm here, but how do I get myself to the gym? And I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. The class starts at 6 a.m. So what I'll do is I'll put my alarm on for 4:30 so I can get up and get ready. Give me a key to your house. I'll drive over here. I'll go into your house. I'll go to your bedroom. I'll slap you across the face, throw you in the shower, and I'll drive you there. In other words, that's your responsibility. I can't help you control your emotions. That's your job. I literally, there's nothing I can say or do. It's like if you go to a weight loss center and then you say, how do I not eat the chocolate cake in the fridge? That is your responsibility. I can tell you what to do, how you do it, and you doing it is up to you. I can't help you with that. I've never, ever been able to find a way to help people with that. You controlling your own emotions through all this parenting stuff, when I say you have to show no fear, no anger, no disappointment, no frustration, that's your struggle, basically. That's the hardest part with all this. But yeah, the thing is, it gets easier once you start to see results. You'll feel very empowered once it starts to work, and you'll go, oh, I get it. I can do this. That's so rewarding in my job when people do that. And I can always tell at the top of the session, as soon as they come in, I can always tell when they've turned that corner. They just have it. They just say, yeah, wait till you hear what I'm doing. And they just say, I've got it. So it's wonderful. There's still some struggles in there, but overall they get it. Once you get it and you've done it a few times and you start to see the results, it gets easier. It's like dieting or anything else. You got to do the work before you see the results. People say, well, if my kids were easier, then I wouldn't be so mad all the time. You're the adult here. You got to do the work first before you get the results. My son used to say, when I was working with other kids and he'd walk by a classroom and see me, he says, I can always tell when a kid had just acted out with you, because you always had a smirk on your face. And the reason I would smirk every time a kid would act out with me, and I'd get this, I know it was he said, it's not so much a smirk, but a little bit of like that. It's like, oh, what an opportunity to exercise my leadership. Whenever a child was naughty and I was like, I'm just getting to know them and I was building the respect, every time they'd act out, that's an opportunity for me to exercise my leadership. So look at their bad behavior as an opportunity. And you're thinking, yeah, right, you dope. I know it's frustrating, but anyway. Okay. Oh, this is Niaz by. You have to go, if you want my help, you have to go on my website for coaching. And there's a huge wait list for that. So it might be a few months before I get to you. But sometimes, because it's been so long now with some of those people on there, it's already been a few months. So sometimes they've already moved on to someone else. So I can get through that list a lot sooner sometimes. Yeah. Or they bought the course or whatever. So. Can you tell me what's different between your parenting packages and your videos? Okay, basically, the only thing that's really different is coaching, because it's personal, right? So I give very different advice in coaching because it's so personalized. That's it. Everything else, it's all the same stuff. The courses, you can get it all for free. If you just go online, you don't need to buy a course. It's just packaged up and bundled, that's all. So all the information is condensed and packaged up for you. That's all. Any course that you buy, you look at any of their courses online. Most people, if they're teaching business or whatever, all their information's free. The course just takes you through a process. It's all bundled up. It's organized for you. That's all you're paying for, is we've organized all the information for you. That's it. And we put all the most important stuff in there. Coaching is very different. But yeah, that's the only thing that is different. The podcast, all the videos, all that stuff, the lives, all this stuff is just, it's all out here. It's all out there. Yeah, coaching is the only thing that's different. It's my favorite thing in my business is coaching, by far. Love it. Because I'm not a mom anymore. So I get to mother all these parents, right? Like, I'm a mom, but my kids are grown. So I still get I have a lot of maternal stuff I have to expel. I've got a grandchild now, which helps too. So yeah, the coaching is like my mothering. I love that stuff. So your child is just having a hard time dealing with disappointments. Are you a pleaser parent? You try and make everything too easy for your child? I used to tell my kids, hey, life doesn't always go the way you want, and let them have their fit. Let them get emotional. Don't try and fix everything for them. Don't be a pleaser parent. Don't try and roll out the red carpet for them and solve all their problems. Just say, yeah, life sucks sometimes. It's just the way it is, right? Maybe I wouldn't use that term with a 7-year-old, but that's just life. It's not supposed to be easy all the time. Life doesn't always go your way. The sooner they learn that, the better. Yeah, if you need me now, if you are in crisis, and I mean crisis, life and death stuff, horrible stuff's going on with your kids, you can literally email the hello at BratBusters and put down crisis in the subject, and my daughter will decide whether it is or not, if you want to work with me in coaching. And then I might put you at the front of the line, depending, because a lot of people say it's crisis. I've got a 2-year-old who has tantrums every day. That's not crisis. Yeah, but if it's really serious red zone stuff, then yeah, I might put you at the front of the line. It's just there's a lot of people who say they're in crisis and maybe they just want to go to the front of the line. I have to be careful with that, because if you're waiting for months, that's why I haven't really been doing that as much lately. I do specialize in teen crisis work. If it is life and death, you'll find a way to get to me. That's the way I look at it. So. How long is the line? Well, it's in the 3 digits, but I won't say how much. But I think a lot of people, they just find me initially and then they sign up and then they realize that if they just listen to the podcast, that's all they need. I really try and encourage people not to go for coaching just because of that. What's happened is I think I've doubled or tripled my fees. I can't remember what I've done, just to try and minimize the queue, the lineup, but it's just gotten bigger and bigger. So it's all I can do is just keep raising prices, just to try and manage it. But, it's a good problem to have, but it's stressful. I don't like seeing people wait, but most information is out there anyway. And the podcast helps a lot of people because we go into more detail in the podcast. And my daughter's really good at pulling up. My daughter is really good at knowing what because I don't see comments or messages. She does all that. So she knows what you're asking. She kind of identifies more with you. Then she sort of is your voice in the podcast. So yeah, she asked me questions that I think, well, I wouldn't have thought of that because to me it's obvious, but she goes, well, not to other people, Mom. So that's why the podcast works so well, because I'll go, well, obviously what you do is it, and she goes, Mom, it's not obvious to everybody, right? Okay, I've got to get going. My alarm's already gone twice and I've turned it off. Okay, I got to get going. Thanks so much for joining me. If you check out my website, it's BratBusters.com. You can see my free behavior board, my boot camp courses, my coaching. As I said, it's a big wait list, but I'll get to it eventually. And you can look into the podcast. It's called BratBusters Parenting Podcast. It's on all the platforms and we save it on YouTube. And I just want to thank you again for the support on the podcast. I think a couple of weeks ago, our goal in the first year was to hit 10,000 downloads, which is evidently good. And we hit 1 million in the first year. So we are absolutely just so grateful for this. Our goal is reach. We're in the caring field. We want to send this message out to as many people as possible because I really believe in leadership. I think it makes kids feel great about themselves. It sets them up for success in life and that they can handle problems that come their way. I don't think life should be easy for kids. I think life should be normal. I'm not a pleaser. I don't want to make life easy for them, but I want to build them up so they're strong and they can handle whatever comes their way. Okay. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll be back again hopefully soon. Happy parenting.